Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I want to take you along a few hours, maybe even a couple of days this week with me. And I want to see how much my time is worth in terms of how much do I delegate? Am I truly doing things that light me up? Am I doing things that actually move the bar in my business? Or am I just busy? And so, if you are an individual in which you feel like you do not have a grip on your time, on your capacity, then I definitely want you to buckle up. I am going to calculate my worth while we're moving through the days on the screen. And so, stay connected. And of course, if you have any questions, drop it below. All right, y'all. So, hey, my name is Dr. TK. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this thought just came up at like 6:05 in the morning, is I just got back from New York 2 days ago. Your girl is tired. Now, I met with about 15 groups, 15 therapists in New York. We did an in-person conference, and I must say, I so love when I meet y'all in person. Now, in terms of the themes that came up, it was capacity, doing too much, need to delegate more, and all the things related to ourselves getting in the way to be able to go to that next level, right? So we set up the conference where it was split up in two different sections. The first topic was motivational interviewing, but we looked at how do we design a life first business? And we start looking at productivity hacks beyond theory. We looked at goal setting versus intention setting. We looked at how do we choose the right goal and in what order to then knock other small goals down. It was a really good workshop, to the point where I want to do that workshop over and over and over again for those who could not make it to New York. So stay tuned, because I might, in the next maybe month or so, be offering that virtually, and it is APACE certified. So after we, met and things like that, I just start paying close attention to and that's the crazy part about hosting something, you got to look at yourself. And I started looking at, okay, what are some ways that I can get better at delegating? I can get better at intention setting. And one of them is actually what I'm going to do right now, which is go to the gym. So what I want to do, just to break down what I talked about in the intro, is I do these workshops called Know Your Worth. And what we do is we help therapists calculate their true value per hour compared to what they think they're worth per hour in terms of how they spend their time. So what I'm going to be doing is applying the formula, and I'm going to be calculating some things on the screen so that you can see how much that task is worth, and then should I do it or not. Now, I'm believing that I probably should break down to y'all what the formula is in a simple way versus how I do it in a workshop. And then that way you can understand how I am calculating it. So I'm going to finish getting dressed. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to pull up this formula and then give you the breakdown, and we're going to have some fun. Now, if you are new here, my name is Dr. TK, clinical psychologist, therapist, business mentor, mother of 2 beautiful boys, wife, and just all the roles and things that we have in this beautiful thing called life. And so on this channel, I'm all about designing a life first business, which means that you create the life that you want, and then you design your business to fit around it so that you do not lose track of who you are and what you want. So if you are all about that, make sure that if you want to stay tapped into stuff like that, that you subscribe to the channel, like this video. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and get myself prepared for this gym. All right, so before I go to the gym, I'm downstairs in my office. I'm going to break down and just put on the screen the calculation. I would highly encourage you either pause the video as you go along, take notes, And I'll probably by the end of this figure out a way to get y'all this formula, but for now, write it down. And by the end of this video, if I have something for you, I'll let you know. It's in the description box. All right, you ready? So I want you to think about first your desires. And so your desires are like, how much money do you want to make? And I'm going to ask you a few questions. So that's why I said pause it. So desired, what would you like your annual revenue to be? Next question, how many weeks in a year do you actually want to work? So keep in mind, you have Christmas week off, you have Thanksgiving week off, you have New Year's week off. So it's only 52 weeks in a year. You're already down to 49. Then let's just say if you want 2 weeks off in June because your kid is out of school, you want to do the calculation because this is intentional planning. So how many weeks in a year do you want to work? Then the next question is, how many days of the week do you want to work? So on average, you may want to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with an optional Friday here and there, but the average is 3, right? But maybe you say 4 because 4 could be considered a swap out of content creation at Midday and going to speak. Maybe those are your Fridays. So you technically work 4 days a week. That's your desire. Then the next question is, how many hours per day do you want to work? So again, on average, because I know it fluctuates, how many hours in a day do you want to work? Now, what you're going to do is basic division, okay? So you're going to divide your annual revenue by the weeks worked in a year, by the average number of days worked in a week, by working hours in a day. Now, what I would highly suggest, pull out your phone and I'm going to give you some examples. Let's just say if your annual desired revenue was $250K. So in your calculator, you'll put $250K divided by, I want to work 40 weeks in a year, which means you want to be off 12 weeks sporadically, spread out the year. So you're going to do 250,000 divided by 40 and then press the equal sign. Okay. Then you're going to take that number and you're going to divide it by, I want to work an average of 4 days a week. Then you're going to press the equal sign again. Then you're going to take that number and you're going to divide it by, I work on average, including paperwork and all the things, content creation, serving clients, 6 hours in a day. Now, what that's going to leave you with is a number. That number represents a rough estimate of how much you are worth per hour. And it's not how much you're valued per hour. I want to be clear, but I'm going to give you a hack in terms of how you can look at this formula when you need to hire, delegate, and also look at things you shouldn't be doing. So the number from the calculation that I provided is $260 per hour. You may be like, wow, that's great. So now the question is, okay, well, how much am I making per hour right now? Because if you're not making the 260, well, then now we got something to talk about, okay? So what you're now going to do is do the reality of what's happening with your money, because that's the desired. So it's the exact same questions. What is your current annual salary? Now, I'm going to give you a little twist. It does not include your W-2 employment. So if you are not as an entrepreneur right now, you don't make any money, it will be 0. If you work part-time, let's just say if it's in the middle of the year, how much do you estimate that you're going to make based off what you did for the first half of the year for the rest of the half of the year, okay? So what is your current annual salary? Then how many weeks this year will you work? So you already know what you've done. Let's just say if this is the middle of the year, you already know what you've done the last 6 months. What is your plan the next 6 months? And now, yeah, you can't play around with intention, but then you got to follow through on it because of this calculation just to see the number. Next question, how many days of the week do you actually work? Got to be real with yourself. Do you really work 7 days a week? Now, I know that the average amount of hours may change, but let's be real. Are you working on your business or in your business 7 days a week? Because even just going through these questions helps you understand why you may be at capacity, why you are burnt out, because you're not resting, okay? You're not giving your brain space to think. Then lastly is how many hours per day do you work? How many hours per day do you work? For real. Now, what you are going to start to see me integrate into this day in the life is a time audit. So I'm just going to put on the screen the times that I was doing things, just so that when I also look at how much I'm worth, because I want to do a reflection and where my time went, I'm going to give you a breakdown at the end of where did my time go today. So for example, my alarm clock already went off at 6 o'clock. I did not get out of bed exactly at 6 o'clock, but I did get out of bed at like 6:03, right? So, and I didn't press the snooze button. I just laid there to get my body up. Then I immediately went in the bathroom, threw on my clothes for the gym, I went to brush my teeth, washed my face, put lotion on my face, and then I immediately came downstairs. While I was coming downstairs, I had the idea for this video, so I grabbed the camera, not a big deal. And then I did the intro. You could probably tell my voice is raspy. I'm not talking probably as loud here that I was upstairs, but that's because I don't want to wake anybody up. It's summertime here. And all of this, even this intro to this video with the formula, it's 6:30. So if I did this every morning, I would have to understand that, or maybe ask myself, is this helping me grow my business and or awareness of what I represent? And for me, the answer would be yes, because I am informing you of how to look at your time, because every boot camp that I'm having, every workshop and event that I'm having with therapists, they continue to tell me that it is a time capacity issue and they need to figure out what's getting in the way. Okay. So I want to give you the end of the formula as an example, just so you can see how they compare. Okay. So let's calculate the reality number. So let's just say if your real annual revenue is 75K, then we divide that by how many weeks in a year will you actually work? 50. You're only off Christmas and New Year's week. Then on average, how many days a week do you work? 5. How many hours in a day do you work on average? 6. So when we divide all those numbers, now we're at $50 an hour. And every time I do this boot camp, people are like, oh my gosh, no wonder why, X, Y, and Z, why things aren't working out. It's because you really now need to get a grip on your time. You need to get a grip on what you're doing in that time. Okay. And the biggest question is it adding money to the pot or is it draining it? And see, this is the thing. Sometimes we don't see it as an issue, even though we know it's a problem, because we may be spending more time on tasks than we should, primarily because we don't see money coming out of our account. But what would happen, and I want to see if we can do this. I'll just take notes on my phone. I wonder what would happen if you did what I'm doing today and you saw how much money is leaving your account in energy, let's just say $150 per hour, right? My number is going to be a lot higher than that. I'm going to make it $500 an hour. So every hour that I'm doing something that does not add value to my personal life, relationships, because I deposit over there as well, and my business, it is going to be withdrawing $500, right? Oh, let's see how much money I'm left with today, because if y'all start seeing those minuses on your bank account, you will probably think a lot different. Okay. So as a recap, we're going to do a time audit so I can show you my time throughout the day. At the end, I'll do a full recap and see how much money I've gained, how much money I've lost, and then just do an overall reflection of maybe what I should delegate out more. And then I'll also take you along my day. Okay. So let me go ahead and make my first deposit. I am going to the gym and I have an app called Playbook. So I started following this girl about 2 years ago because I had a trainer online. She was really good, but I really wanted to just take it upon myself to, have different types of workouts, not be stuck in one. And so I started following a young lady called Leslie Get In Fit, like the letter N. So Leslie Get In Fit. That's her picture. That's her name. So she's on Instagram. And she had a challenge about 2 years ago. I joined the challenge. And what's dope about it is the Playbook app was $99 a year. And once you join her challenge, you actually get access to all of her challenges, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is that this is a way for me to cut time. I can create my own workouts. I'm a workout type person. I love working out. But I noticed that when I do that, I have decision fatigue. Right now, I'm still tired from our live event. We're getting prepared to go out of town again. And so with that said, I chose to start the Summer Shred Challenge again, right before I went out of town to New York. Clearly, I wasn't working out when I went to New York, but I was getting 10 to 12,000 steps in a day. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that. But this is adding to my pot, because if I went to the gym and then I got to the gym and I'm like, man, what should I be doing when I work out? I am already wasting time and money. Okay. So I'm gonna go work out and I'm gonna deposit this money, into my bank account, where I'm still holding true to my $500 per hour in the gym. So I'm gonna put $500 on the screen for an hour, cha-ching, right? I'm gonna see if we can put that sound on there too, just so that you can see and feel, wow, we made money, we are worth that amount of money because working out for me stimulates my brain, gets my juices flowing. So you got to think about, how is this helping you promote your business? And for me, I do habit stacking. I listen to audibles, books, personal development, YouTube videos is going to help me grow something in my business. So that is adding money to my business. So without further ado, I'm going to go work out. If it ain't crowded, I might take y'all along with me to see what I'm doing. But outside of that, I will see y'all on the next check-in. All right. All right, doing a check-in. So it is 8:07. I did do some things in the house before I walked to the gym. So just giving you a rundown of my day from when we spoke last. Around 6:30, I did leave, or I'm gonna say about 6:45 actually. I left the house. I do the community gym. So I got to the gym around maybe 6:50-ish, about, let's just round it up to 7 o'clock. So I start working out at 7. I ended my workout at 7:55. I did leg day. I did do about, 40 something calories or whatever. Let me see. I did 3,689 steps so far this morning. Did a distance mile because I did the Stairmaster. Then of course I walk in between workouts. I did a mile and 1.53 miles. And then I did about 335 active calories. 56 calories on the stair stepper, and then ultimately like 400 and something altogether. So I did walk home at 7:55. Sorry if you can hear they're cutting grass, but I walked home at 7:55. I did what's called a walk and talk scripting prayer. So I've been doing, I always do walk and talk prayer, but I'm more so just like brain dump, talk out my thoughts, and just allow God to like pour into me and hear me. So it's not like a traditional prayer, but that's my way of more feeling like I'm connected and having a conversation. So I did have some downloads, and what I do is I use ChatGPT and I use the microphone feature, like the regular microphone, and I talk to it and I say, hey, I'm gonna do my morning scripting walk, talk, prayer. I'm just gonna brain dump. And then of course, while I'm brain dumping, I get downloads, I get cleared. And I find that as I talk out things become more clear. So for example, I was brain dumping about how I definitely want to do more type of events, whether that's virtual or in person. I talked about YouTube, Instagram strategy. And then I did, I'm processing building out a new way for me to connect with therapists, where I just continue to deliver value, but that it is leading into, for those who are a good match for my coaching program, that I figure out what we consider like opt-ins or lead generators, something that's going to give them a aha moment awareness, micro win right away, that's not too heavy and that's very specific. So I was able to map out that whole thing, and it was nice because I realized when I mapped it out that this is where, sometimes we get sidetracked, is I could have went with like, I'm just gonna do live events, which I love to do, but that is not the one thing that I should be focused on. That should be secondary to, for me getting clients. I love live events, but right now, at least when I'm recording this in 2025, live events are fun, but not as many therapists can come to it as maybe they would like, or as I would like to have that community aspect. I like intimate events, but I also like a flavor of, 40 clinicians in a room, 50 clinicians and stuff like that. So it doesn't mean it's not gonna happen. It's just that in order for me to get intentional with my time, I have to figure out when is the best time for it to happen. So I mapped that out. It is 8:10. Right now, I'm about to make my protein shake. So I went to Sam's Club yesterday, got me some more organic protein. I usually fill it with PB Fit, and I did order, I got a new one down there, so I'm gonna use all that. And then I did buy Bloom, but I realized that these are the exact same thing. So I'm gonna use this one first, and I'll probably do this one after lunch or something. Or maybe this morning, I don't know. I got a coaching call this morning, but I'm gonna use the organic super blends, and that will be my greens. And that typically holds me while I'm doing my coaching calls. I do have a coaching call this morning at 9, so I gotta speed things up. I'm gonna get dressed, but I have a coaching call at 9. I'm gonna do a live stream orientation for our Private Practice Academy students, just so that they can watch it later. I'm just gonna go over the portal and the syllabus and how they can maximize their time and maneuver through the materials and ask for help. So I'm gonna do that overview from 10 to 11. And then I pretty much have, I say a break, but that just means nothing is on my calendar. So I have a break around 11, and then I have a digital product masterclass at 4 p.m. Today, but that's pretty much the only thing on my call for today. So yeah, let me go ahead and get started. Let me make my shake, get things popping, and I'll talk to y'all in a minute. What I would like you to do is, I don't need you on the live stream per se. I'm gonna treat the live stream literally like a YouTube live stream. It's just that people register for it, right?
The door for some contract work that had came about a few months ago, but now, so we were celebrating that. I'm excited about that. I don't think I necessarily have a
clinician too that got licensed. That's such a good, awesome thing to witness, especially when you know you were part of the journey. So, Hey y'all, welcome back. So wanted to do a brief check-in to walk you through this part of my day. So a hack for auditing your time and understanding where your time goes is to document it as you go. The reason why is you don't want to wait until the end of your day to try to remember exactly what you did, because you're not going to capture little bitty things that you did. For example, if I decided to, as I did, you probably saw earlier, I sent my team member a Slack message of a morning check-in, right? But then when I look back at my time, I may say, you know what, from this time to this time, I did all of my personal development this morning and got dressed. But that's not true, because I did other things that actually moved the needle in my business and got me answers. And I need to make sure that we actually do that every single morning, where she sends me a voice note, I send her a voice note, and then we do a check-in to see what the rest of our day will look like. And so at 9 o'clock, I had the DTA plat call. I had that call until about 10:15. And then from that time until now, which is 10:24, I did a team check-in. So what we do, we press the stop recording button on Zoom, and then we just check in while we're there, me and my team member on Zoom. So what we talked about was invoicing from a nonprofit that we work with and getting clear on payment deadlines and invoicing. We also talked about student renewals for different programs. We recapped on the New York event, and we ultimately talked about what needs to be done before I go out of town this upcoming Sunday. So I want to share with you the themes, just to also make it a little bit more enticing, juicy, right? I want to share with you the themes that came up during the call today. So 2 people had questions. We had about, I think, 6 or 7 therapists on. But some of the things that we talked about is being intentional with your calendar. Isolation in business is real. And for those clinicians that are moving forward to have a group practice in the next 12 months, starting to teach future clinicians not to be in isolation as well. So even ideally hiring 2 people at a time, or bringing on 2 practicum students at a time. I made some basic announcements about some live events that either we're hosting and or people that we collaborate with are hosting. We talked about and gave them a copy of a syllabus that we would like them to follow to either refresh their private practice so that they can have room to work on the expansion clinical streams of income. We talked about a 5-minute clickable note that one clinician said definitely leverage her time and efficiency with doing her progress notes so that she can work on her clinical streams of income, like supervising therapists. And then some of the general themes were building up confidence in your business with what you choose to do to scale your time and earn more money. The collaboration piece of working with different types of attorneys or other people in the community to get referrals for your practice. We talked about group practice readiness, because our PLAT program is not for group practice, but we encourage people to do this program first to prepare you to get the systems together. So that way for yourself, so that way when you go into group practice, I can then personalize that experience and you will move a lot faster. We talked about how much do you pay an intern and what do you do until they're able to see clients, and then who should you be consulting with, what type of documentation you should have in place, what should you look for with cash flow. We talked about the 3 levels of therapists that you hire or bring into your practice for supervision, like the ones that are in school, because the requirements are totally different from what they can do at your space. So those who are in school, post-grad versus licensed. And then I left them with you're never starting from scratch. give yourself credit. Your business is like putting a lot of pieces of a puzzle together. You have the pieces, but you may not know what the frame looks like. Therefore, you feel scattered. So I'm gonna run upstairs real quick, check on my son. Then I'm gonna do the orientation in literally 3 minutes. The orientation is going to be maybe up to 20 minutes. And then I'll wrap up there. And then you're gonna see me switch gears throughout the day and work on different things. All right, be right back. From time to time, we do have what we call a hyper-intensive level of a certain amount of coaching calls. Good. All right, so here's the syllabus right here. So it is in your portal. For alumni, we did update this if you are in a refresher mode of DTA. So with the tracks, what you want to do first before you choose a track. Hey y'all, so it is exactly 11:01. I did cut it off at the 30-minute mark, so I was done at 11. So I'm just waiting for StreamYard. That's where I record and stream live on an unlisted YouTube video for the students. I'm waiting for it to save the live stream to make sure that it buffers correctly on the replay. But I'm currently now, in terms of shifting, I am in mom mode. And so I'm gonna go to my list of how I was taking note of my day just to make sure that I adequately do my time audit. So let's see, the orientation was at 10:30, at 11 a.m. Mom mode, and I actually want a breakfast. So I'm about to go up there and cook something. My son is upstairs, kind of chilling on his own. His dad set him up with breakfast. He went out to go work. And then my husband is actually gonna take my youngest son to go pick up our eldest son, because he will be with us for the weekend and then for our vacation. So he's gonna help me out at 4 o'clock so that I can host my masterclass. But my goal is between now and probably 2 o'clock. Actually, no, I'll turn off my brain about 1:15. I'm gonna go upstairs, watch some Netflix so that my brain can detach. I'll first make sure that I check in with my team member to make sure everything is good. And then I'm gonna eat, take a Netflix break, and then get a little bit of energy back. And I'll more than likely this afternoon, after a little break, go over my slides for this evening. I do have to review the sales emails that go out post the workshop. So I'll review those and then assign it to a team member. So delegation is key. And then after that, after the workshop, let me see, I'm not on vacation yet. I'm technically on vacation at 12 o'clock tomorrow. So got a little bit more work to do. And just PS, it is not ideal that I actually have coaching calls right after I come back from a week-long trip, especially with it being family heavy oriented in the beginning with kids. That is draining within itself. And then being up and talking for 2 days, definitely I was tired as heck yesterday. However, our mastermind cohort is wrapping up in July, and I wanted to make sure that all coaching calls for existing programs that are ending, I just took one for the team and said, I'm just gonna thug this out. I am going to finish up with all of my coaching calls by this Friday. So we did a lot of them last Monday, and then we're doing the other half tomorrow, which is 2 calls. And then after that, your girl is on vacation. It don't mean I'm not posting content, because I still gotta have that popping, but I'm gonna schedule out as much as I can from my phone, or at least create it, record it, do some voiceovers. And then also what I'm gonna be doing between now and probably Saturday, and just being honest with my time, is that I also need to work with my video editor so that I can make sure I upload all the videos to be scheduled out. I really want to be on vacation outside of maybe one call with my money person, because that is important, what we need to talk about. I don't mind taking those calls because that's simple in the morning. But outside of that call, I'm on somebody beach, okay? So, all right, y'all, it's 11:04. I'm about to go upstairs and be in mommy mode. Hey, what's up, y'all? So I'm about to share with y'all a real life situation. If you hear noise, it's either my son or I'm making him a fish burger. And so I believe I left off with you with giving you a checkup or a check-in after I had the call. So at 11 o'clock, I went into mom mode, ate a later breakfast. 11:05 to about 11:20, I posted some social media stuff related to like our family page, because that's more lighter on my brain from like a recent vacation. From 11:30 to 12:15, I did update a sales page for one of our products, and I sent my team member over the emails. So originally I was gonna take like a full-fledged break, but I'm like, probably not the best to like eat and work at the same time. But I'm like, you know what? I really want to take a break when I'm on break. And the only thing I want to do before the workshop is just like review everything one last time. But I'm like, I have the energy right now. I might as well do it, because one thing I've learned about myself is that when I have the energy and I put it off to later, sometimes my energy don't come back at the time that I would want it to. And if that's something that you're looking into as well, like tracking your energy, you don't just want to track your time. You want to also track how are you showing up during certain times of the day, and that can fluctuate based off who in the house. Right now, it's just me and my son, so the energy level that I thought I was gonna have like later on, I could feel that it was about to not be there, because if you have kids home during the summer, we weren't able to put him into like a structured summer program because he does not go to a traditional school where they have like the 2.5 months off. And so we are technically taking 2 vacations in like a 20-day time frame, maybe even 20-day time frame. And that's a lot because we had to meet the schedules of both kids. And so, and our eldest son plays football or whatever, and he going to high school. So we had to keep that in mind when we scheduled summer things. So I'm saying all that because this summer schedule isn't ideal. However, it is what it is. And so we have to work around it. And that means that me and my husband are playing tag team with my son. It's also 93 degrees outside where we live at. So nobody's outside. The kids don't really come outside until 5 o'clock in the evening, which means that we're pretty much in the house. And there's only so many activities that we can do to keep his attention, because kids like to switch up stuff just like an entrepreneur every 5 milliseconds, okay? So 11:30 to 12:15, updated the sales page. Then something happened. This is what happens when you have too many tabs open. I decided to check one of my banks. So I end up doing like a money check. And so that means that I have a spreadsheet. I check all of my accounts. I'm also looking for things to be cleared, because when you go out of town, we had like 3 different hotel rooms across 2 different states. We had a hotel room in DC, then my team member had a room in New York, then we had a room in New York. But if you don't know how the hotels work, your room may be $800, but they may take out $200 for the first night, and then they're processing like $1,000, and then they charge another $300 or something. And so it's almost like double the amount, and it was actually more than what they quoted me. So I'm like, what the heck? So one of those payments actually fell off today, but we checked out of that hotel on Saturday. It's Thursday, y'all. So that impacts cash flow. So those are things I'm looking at, because I want to set up payroll before I leave over the weekend. So I'm doing my money check. So then I went back to doing more things that are like less stressful. So I end up going back to my family page and like creating another video. And then that was from 1:30. And I don't know why I looked at the clock at 1:36, probably because I was going to go check the mail. And so 1:36 to 1:45, me and my son walked out and checked the mail. And then I for real watched Netflix. Then I realized my mood was just off. And so talked to my husband for a few moments, did a couple of other knick-knack things on the computer. And then at, 2:15, start cooking my son lunch. I'm writing it down. So all in all, when I look at my schedule thus far in terms of generating revenue, in terms of like my energy, I'm actually doing pretty good. But again, I'm gonna give y'all a recap of everything, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through my entire list. I'm gonna put like a money sign or maybe a negative sign, so then we can calculate all the things that I put in for my business. And the way that I measure it is, am I working on my business and or in it to move the needle and generate more revenue, generate more impact, and work toward our goals. So, all right, let me attend to him, because he kept calling my phone while he was upstairs on FaceTime. And so, and also let me finish making his burger and make me one, because my food needs to be digested when I do this workshop at 4 o'clock. Hey, what's up, y'all? So it is 5:45. I am putting a hard stop on my day. I just wrapped up the masterclass. And so before I end, I do want to show you the prompt that I used in ChatGPT to get the response in terms of it calculating, and of course me reviewing it, how I utilize my time and energy. So as a quick disclaimer, I did not just calculate the $500 for only things that made me money, but I also included things that bring me peace, to give me space and time to think, to then be able to grow my business, right? So I wanted to see it from like an energetics perspective and a money perspective, not just if you didn't do the one thing that was going to grow the revenue in your business, it's not worth it, because sometimes resting is actually worth it. So I'm going to read to you the prompt, and then I'm going to switch over to Loom. So my voice is going to sound a little different. And I'm going to pretty much give you a breakdown of like what it looked like and to give you my honest opinion of how today went. So I do use ChatGPT to talk out my thoughts and have it like summarize it. So I said, hey, I would like your help with, I'm going to copy and paste my time audit that I did today. What I want to do is to apply the following. So I'm giving it a formula. Okay. So you got to tell it exactly what to do. So if the task that I wrote down improves me as a CEO, including professional development, resting my brain in between time to then give my brain capacity, a space to think again, because, going back and forth, different tasks, because that's important. And then also depositing back into myself or my business, time with my family. I want you to put $500 next to that particular task and put like a plus $500. And then if it is something that I probably should delegate or I probably shouldn't have spent as much time on it, I want you to put a minus $500 at least in energy. And or, for example, I was doing things just to keep me busy, or I could have put it off for another day. So then I said, I'm going to copy and paste my timeline. So let me take you over to Loom and show you what it did. Okay, so here's a breakdown of my time audit. And so at 6 o'clock, woke up. That's a $500 plus task because I'm establishing, and I didn't tell it to do this, but it kind of did it itself with my prompt. It established a morning routine that supports CEO wellness and mindset reset. At 6:03, I got out of bed. So it says 500 plus, micro habit, but contributes to discipline and morning activation. 6:15, recorded this video, an introduction and a gym prep, $500 again, recorded video, content marketing, and then gym prep that preps my brain and body, and I'm investing in myself. 7:55 a.m., I walked and talked with a prayer and did like some journaling out loud. And that was a 500 plus, provides me with mental clarity, spiritual grounding, creative flow, and that equals to high level CEO work when I'm working in my business and on it. The post-workout shake at 8:10, that's also a plus. So health investment, which equals energy and sustainability. Next is 8:20, shower and got dressed, again, 500. Rest, reset, supports presence and professionalism. 9 o'clock coaching call, 500 plus, revenue generating plus impact, CEO core task. Now, clearly, if you're getting paid for those particular calls from like a new client, the amount can go higher. Okay. I just made it $500 for the sake of the numbers. Okay. Coaching orientation at 10:30. That was the live stream, 500 plus, because I'm focused on business growth, client relationship, and that equals core leadership work. At 11 o'clock, mom mode and breakfast. So it says $500 again. Family deposit equals my energy back, joy, and why I do what I do is to spend time with my family. 11:05 social media post. It marked it as neutral, which I thought was interesting. It says marketing task equal important, but could be scheduled or delegated if it's a recurring theme. So that is something that I would carry over into tomorrow, or figure out ways where I can even reduce this time to 5 minutes versus 15. Like, can I curate certain templates versus trying to do something from scratch? 11:30, updated sales page, $500 high ROI task, conversion related, money making time. Now, this can also be something that's delegated, but it's still a task that will help me generate sales. And I'm just updating the page, and I didn't spend a lot of time on it. And I also focus on the sales emails. 12:15, I did a money check-in, vital for a CFO task. And so business health check, CEO essential. Some of the things clearly is my money team, but I just like to check my balances to see where everything is, especially when we are done with a live event, because there's a lot of cash flow coming back in. Some things are on hold, some things are going out, and we really need to itemize our expenses so that I can answer questions to the CFO. At 1 o'clock, a family page post, and so it marked that as a negative. So negative 500, good for memories, but possibly outside business ROI unless repurposed as lifestyle content. Good to know. And that's something I've been battling with a lot. Like, I tend to work on family stuff actually when I am chilling and Netflix and chilling. So I wouldn't see it as a full negative, but it would be around, because I only spent 6 minutes on it, but it would be around, is there something else that I could have been doing during that time for my business, especially considering that I'm doing a masterclass. At 1:36, I went and checked the mail and Netflix. So minus $500 again. Potential scroll, mental drift zone. The break was fine, but passive Netflix could have been replaced with a recharge. Ooh, this is good. Like a nap, silence, or a walk. Definitely not a walk because it's 93 degrees. But I definitely agree with the silence. At 2:15, cooking lunch. And so that was neutral. That is a life task, possibly delegated, or depending on the phase of life, I could have used that time to recharge. So maybe I could use like meal prep. At 2:45, Disney vlog and trip shopping list. So to me, that was a peaceful activity. And I made sure to emphasize that when I said it to ChatGPT. So it gave me $500 back. Mental reset, fun, plus potential content planning and creative recharge. Now I feel like that's what this family page post did. But it is what it is. At 3:30, I did do something in between. So I'm going to verbally insert this one. It would have been an additional $500. I did find the time to turn off the Netflix. I did start to feel overstimulated due to some other things that were happening in the background on the phone and things like that. And then also having my son home from school in the summer and not wanting to sit still like all day. And so I needed time for rest and for peace. And so I did pull out a Bible app. I did start like a devotional. I like to do these plans. And I realized when I put on my headphones, because my son was playing this educational game as well on his tablet, that I felt at peace because after I listened to the devotional and journaled, literally wrote in my journal, I then was listening to a Disney mom in the background, but I was also like journaling in my book. And it's something about lo-fi music and sometimes just listening to someone enjoy life. It helps me be free. Okay. That's not on here, but it was in between this. At 3:30, reviewed the slides for the masterclass, another $500. That's prep. It's strategic, directly supports impact and business delivery. And then 4 o'clock, I did the masterclass. It was so fun. And the masterclass was about 1 hour and 5 minutes, but then my team member, she is off, but she did set me up to just press send in the email. I did have to tweak like 1 or 2 lines. Outside of that, I just sent that email. She'll schedule the rest tomorrow. Let's see. And yes, signature CEO activity, lead generator, sales, and authority building. So from what it did thus far, it says totals and insight. $500 task, which are deposits, 13. Neutral optional delegation, 2 items. So I was minus like $1,000. And then negative $500, which they actually put in negative, was energy leak and or delegatable. Right? So that was the negative 1,000. So it says CEO insight for the video. Let's see what it wrote. You spent the majority of your day in CEO energy task, coaching, marketing, mindset, movement, and money. Only about 15% of your day, family, posted Netflix, dipped into unnecessary or delayable time zones. This shows that the real challenge isn't laziness, it's capacity. Most of your day was strategic, so the video can emphasize, this video, sometimes the reason you feel tired isn't because you're not doing enough, it's because you're doing the most. Come on, chat, right? Just not always in the order that supports your next level. And then it says, do you want my help with turning this into a script or a reel caption? I'm going to say, yes, please. Turn it into a reel and it's going to do what it do. All right, let me hop over to the other camera. All right, y'all. So can you say wow and wow? I had no idea that the start of this day following my download would end up with a fun activity like this. And these are the type of vlogs that I like to do, like day in the life, and me make it educational, informative, and that you can do some of these things too. So let me know below, did you like me doing this day in the life where I choose a day of the week and then I show you the different hats that I swap out of and I walk you through it? How did you like the ChatGPT prompt? Is this something that you want to try? What I would like you to do in the chat box, because you did make it to the end of this video, put an emoji that represents time freedom for you. Is it travel? Put an airplane. Is it on a cruise? Is it rest? Is it yoga? Is it overseas? Do you need a picture of a passport? Do you want to put a little bikini? I don't know. Whatever represents time freedom for you, I want you to drop it down below. So if you are new here, my name is Dr. TK. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you want to come back for more and join our abundant community, definitely subscribe to this channel, like this video, and drop that emoji below. And I will talk to y'all in the next maybe vlog. All right, talk to you later. Bye.